What's good, everybody? It's John. I come back at y'all with another video. So with this video, I want to talk about consistency and the power of consistency. Why you need to embrace consistency, because oftentimes being consistent is what can lead you to success. Being consistent is what will actually get you over the hump towards where it is that you want to go. Now, when we're talking about consistency, we're talking about doing the same thing over and over. It means showing up each and every day. And it means putting your best foot forward, because we live in a day and age where it's not actually hard to be successful, right? Because most people want results right away. And most people say they want to succeed. Most people say they want to make it happen. But oftentimes they'll only attempt a few times. And then if they don't see results, they'll give up because they'll believe that it doesn't work or that it's not meant for them. What we need to understand is consistency is the key. Success is not about intelligence, right? It's not about IQ. There's plenty of successful people who didn't receive a formal education, right? And by success, I'm referring to people who might own major businesses, people who are financially abundant, people who are living their dream lives happily, right? It does not require intelligence. Oftentimes, it was simply all about consistency, right? Let me give you guys an example. Just say you were a baseball player, right? And let's just say it is the first game of the season. And normally when you play baseball, right, when you're on offense, you typically have several chances to bat throughout the game, right? Say, for example, your first time at bat, you strike out, right? Pitcher throws the pitch, and then you miss 3 times, you strike out. Then you go to bat again in the same game the second time, you strike out. Then you go to bat the third time, you strike out. For a lot of people, if they play their first game of baseball and they strike out every single time, they'll think that they're not good enough to play the game of baseball. Not understanding that that is just one game out of the many dozens, if not over 100 games in a season, right? So that one game doesn't have to define your season or your career, right? That could just be the learning curve. That could just be the beginning, or it could have just been a bad game that just so happened to be the first game ends up being a bad game, or your only bad game, or your worst game. Many people in that moment would just give up. What you need to understand is when you embrace consistency, you will keep going, you will keep at it, because then you can begin to see results as you continue pushing forward. And oftentimes being consistent is what will allow you to outlast your competition, right? Some people who are successful in certain industries are successful simply because they've been around for a long time. And so they're now a household name or a face that people recognize because the person has been around for many years, decades, etc., right? When it comes to making content here on YouTube, every time you post a video, you can equate that to you getting on base, or means you stepping up to bat, right? Every time you upload a video, just imagine every time you upload a video, that's equivalent to you stepping up to bat in baseball, right? There's going to be times where you may strike out, just like there might be times where you might upload a video where you think is absolutely great and amazing and it won't get any views, or it just won't get the traction that you anticipated. That's okay. That doesn't have to define you, right? The more videos you post essentially equates to the more times you're at bat, right? Because the more times you're at bat, for example, if this is baseball, the more chances you have to hit the ball, the higher the probability is of you actually hitting the ball, so that you can either run to first base or hit a double, right, and go to second base, or even hit a home run and run all the way around to score for your team, or in this case, to score for yourself, right? Every time you upload a video, you are essentially stepping up to bat. And so if you want to succeed, you want to give yourself, especially in baseball, as many times as you can to bat, so that you can maximize the probability or the chance of you hitting the ball to score. Same idea with YouTube. You want to grow YouTube. Ideally, you want to continue posting content, because the more content you post, the more probability, the greater the probability is for someone to stumble across your content and watch your video, or the greater the chance is for one of your videos to pop off and potentially go viral, right? You don't know. However, if you simply just give up after 1, 2, 3 videos, after just creating content for a month, then you'll never know where it'll actually take you, right? So that is the baseball analogy for you to understand it with YouTube as well. So the other example that I want to give you guys about consistency, the same idea here, is going to the gym, right? If, say, for example, you want to begin your fitness journey and you want to go to the gym, great. What you need to understand about that is going to the gym is all about consistency. If you right now are out of shape, you are not expected in 24 hours to have a chiseled body. That is unlikely to happen, right? Is it possible? Probably could happen under extreme circumstances, but it's pretty much impossible, right? The point of it, going to the gym, is so that you constantly work out every single day, right? You choose a different muscle to work out, and then you show up week in and week out, so that over time your body begins building muscle mass, right? Because when you build muscle, the original muscles there tear, and then it takes time for those muscles to essentially repair itself and create new muscles, right? So it takes time. Going to the gym, for example, right? You have to show up each and every week, ideally, if you want to continue maintaining progress and ultimately arrive at your fitness goals, right? It is uncommon for someone to go to the gym once and have that great body, or for them to just go 1 month out of the year and maintain that perfect body all throughout the entire year, right? Like, that is very uncommon to happen. So when it comes to even the gym, it's all about showing up and being consistent at it. And as you continue going, that's when you see and feel your body getting stronger. That's when originally, when you were lifting 100 pounds on this machine, right? You show up the next month and now you're lifting 150 on that same machine, right? Like, because you've been getting stronger, because you've been showing up each and every day. Consistency is what's important. Another example when highlighting consistency, think of a marathon, right? In many things in life, especially things that are truly important to us, things that we want to have as part of our life, it is a marathon and not a sprint, right? Because many folks out here want immediate results, or they want to win right away, they'll just put their best foot forward and think this is a sprint and try to get as much as they can done in a day, a week, or a month, and have that dictate whether or not something's going to work out or not, right? In life is more of a marathon, right? For things that are important to you, you should see it as a marathon, right? If we were to use the example of a marathon, right? In a marathon, in most cases, there are hundreds of people that are racing the marathon, right? So if you sign up for a marathon, right, they'll usually give you a number on your shirt that you'll wear. It is unlikely that you will be at the very front of the marathon. So in most cases, you're somewhere in the middle or in the back. When people run marathons, they tend to, 99% of the time, right, they usually pace themselves so that they can maintain their energy and spread their energy across the entire 26 miles. Because if you decide to run full speed, chances are you're gonna be absolutely exhausted even by mile 1, and it'll be very hard for you to muster up the remaining energy to finish the rest of the marathon, right? Virtually every single marathon runner jogs, because that is them stretching out their energy and keeping themselves at a proper pace so that their body can keep up and stretch out their energy for the duration of the marathon, right? I've never seen an actual marathon runner, like someone that finishes the marathon, who, when they start off at the back of the group or in the middle of the group, decide to just sprint to immediately get in the front, right? Marathon runners don't do that. And it's because they're conserving their energy, and they understand that there's probably a lot of people who sign up for a marathon that probably aren't going to make it to the end, right? if you decide to pace yourself, of course, if you train for the marathon, but if you decide to pace yourself, you can make it to the end. You're not going to try to full sprint to get past everyone, to just be in the front, to try to lead the way because you want to win the race. Because you understand that if you decide to full sprint to the front, that is wasted energy that you'll likely need towards the tail end, right? And when you're also running a marathon, you're running with essentially curtains on, right? Like you wearing blinders, right? Because you're not paying attention to anyone to the left or the right of you. You're focused on yourself, your path, and your journey. Because the goal winning the marathon is getting to the end, because the majority of people don't ever even make it to the end, right? So that's the goal. You're not looking at who's in front of you thinking you have to pass them right away and then you just run past them. No, you just keep at it. You remain consistent, jog at the same pace. That is how you make it to the end of a marathon. And once again, because very few people even ever make it to the end of the marathon, if you do make it to the end, you're definitely going to be one of the winners. And that's the same idea with life. Oftentimes people want results right away. And it's true in all areas, right? If I go back to fitness, even though a lot of people can have their dream bodies by simply working out, they would much rather pay tens of thousands of dollars to get plastic surgery. Why? Because getting plastic surgery, they can do the operation the same day, right? And walk out with their brand new body rather than putting in months of effort working out. It's unhealthy to do that surgery, but people are willing to do it because they would rather shell out the money, because it's the easiest way for them to get the results, their microwave results, rather than going through the process of going to the gym. You see it with your own eyes, right? So this is not me just making stuff up. Many people just want immediate results, and they're willing to pay whatever cost is required to get these immediate results. But what you need to understand is those who are really successful in different industries and successful at what they do, they've embraced consistency. They've showed up each and every day, putting in the work, putting their best foot forward, so that over time they can build up a resume that is untouchable, so that over time they can be the expert in their field, right? If you've been doing something for 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, it's going to be hard to find someone that can replace you, right? Because you have so many years of experience doing something that you'll virtually be irreplaceable. And that's because you've embraced consistency. This is why you want to find something that you enjoy, something that you can continue at, and just put your best foot forward and worry less about the results, at least in the early stages. Because people have a tendency, it's like an obsession at this point, to constantly compare themselves with other people. And it's like, there's no reason for you to compare yourself to other people, because you're not those other people. You have your own blessings lined up for you, and they're saved up for you. They're not taken by anybody else. And there's no reason for you to want to be anybody else, because you're your own unique person, right? So as you're seeing from this channel, I'm posting every single day. I'm embracing consistency. And because of that, you guys should know, if you're watching this video right now, you should know that it's going to be inevitable for me to win, that this channel is going to grow. It's going to reach the masses, and it's going to get to the point where I want it to be, right? It's only a matter of time before the reality catches up, because I understand the power of consistency. Consistency is what effectively compounds. So if you show up and do something each and every day, that is how you get good at something. And that will put you ahead of everyone else. So sometimes in life, you get further by focusing on the basics. You get further by focusing on the fundamentals. Because then once you focus on the fundamentals, that's when you become a master of the basics. And once you master the basics, you're much further along, much further ahead than virtually everyone else. So if there's one thing to take away from this video, once again, embrace consistency. Show up each and every day. Put your best foot forward, and worry less about where things are when you're new to something, when you're brand new, when you're starting off, right? because you might not see results for quite some time. Focus on doing it because you enjoy it, because you love it, and focus on the bigger picture, the why. Why is it that you're doing it? So that you can continue to have that motivation, that inspiration to keep going, right? And then over time, you'll begin to see the results slowly creep in until that day comes where you win, right? There's going to be the day that comes where things are just, they're just going to take off and you're going to be speechless. And you're going to know it was because you decided to show up each and every day, even when you didn't have results. Because you know that there will, not that there may be, that there will be a time where you win and that you will be rewarded for your efforts. So use this video as motivation to keep going forward, because trust me guys, you're closer than you think. That wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we are on the road. So I'm going to subscribe guys. So once again, it's Joel and I'm out. See you guys for the next video.